create one more hook, one more component by child ng generate c child check. So two components I'm trying to create. One is parent and the other one is child. So you have one parent component and one the child component. So now what exactly I want to do is I just wanted to test how exactly these hooks will be working. So we will just see how exactly the ng on init and ng on destroy. That is, we will start the hook. In between what is happening, we will see later. So when we start the hook, how exactly it is initiating and how exact when we want to clean the hook, how exactly it is getting destroyed. In between what is happening, how we can just make the changes or check it, we'll just see that afterwards. So what I did is first I created the parent, then I created the child. So now what exactly I want to do is then I want to invoke the component. That is, I want to add the parent component into the app component and the child component into the parent component. So now I just wanted to invoke it. So now what I'll do is I'll just take this particular parent component. Okay, so I'll just take this and I'll just add it here. Okay, so now I'm calling that in the app component.html. So now child I will take this child. And then what I'll do is I will put it in the parent. So here I will just invoke it. So I'll close all this. So I'll just open this HTML and parent HTML and this. Okay. So now a parent is being called within the app. Child is called within the parent. So now I'll just execute this. Okay. So now we are able to see this particular output, parent works and child works. So now what I want to do is, I just wanted to now use the hooks. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just go to the parent hook. So here you can just see that OnInit hook is initialized. So within this particular constructor, I just wanted to see the constructor is the first method which will be invoked as soon as the component is been initialized. So what I'll do is I'll just write a console.log here. Console.log. I'm just writing this parent constructor is called here. So similarly, I'll put the same thing here, and within the OnInit, and then here I will just write OnInit is called. Okay, so now this is the one. So the same thing, what I'll do is even in the child, even in the child component, I'm going to write the same thing. So I'll make it as child. OnInit. Right. Okay. So now what I did is in the constructor of both the parent component and as well as the child component, I have written a console, and OnInit, that is when it has been initialized, I have written the child component. So now we'll just go to this particular one. So now we'll just see what exactly is happening. So now we can just go to the inspect. So we'll just go to the console. So you can just see here when I just executed, that is when it has been initialized, you can see that parent constructor is called, then child constructor is called. So after that, that is the hook parent OnInit has been called, and then child OnInit is called. So you can just see here how exactly it is working. So since constructor is the first one which will be invoked, so it is invoking the constructor, both parent and child. Then it is calling the hook. It is invoking the hook, that is OnInit and OnChild. That is when you are able to see this particular, that is when it is initializing, when that particular element is being loaded onto the browser, then you are able to see that OnInit parents as well as child OnInit method. So this is where exactly the OnInit works. So now we will just look into this, how exactly it works in both the constructors as well as in the parent as well as in the child you have given, that is the hook OnInit method. So now in parent, what we'll do is we will try to just create one button. Okay, so when I create that particular button in the parent, it should invoke the child. So we'll just see that how exactly it happens. So is this clear? Any doubts in this? So do you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now what I'll do is I'll just go to the parent template. Okay, so in the parent template, I will just put one particular button. Then I'll just use a click event. Click event is equal to, I'll just write some method name, method toggle child. Okay, so I just created one particular method. Okay, so now this particular one, I will write this toggle child. I'll put it in the component. So here I will just write the toggle child. So in this, what I'll do is
Spelling mistake, ma'am.
huh?
Spelling mistake.
What I have given here.
Parents and disclose.
Huh? I'll declare one property here as is child, and I'll make it as false.
Extra parentheses.
I'll remind. Okay, so I'll just create one here and then I will try to tell this dot child is equal to not equal to this dot is child. Okay, so now is child is equal to false. I declared one property. Then I'm trying to use the toggle child when this dot is child is not equal to this dot is child. Fine. So now what I need to do is so here in the parent HTML file, I'm just calling this particular child one. Let me just have this below this. So here I just wanted to call that particular, I need to pass that particular this thing. So I'll just use ng if is equal to is child. Okay, so now button click is equal to toggle, then app child dot, and that is star ng if is child. So if it is true or false based on that, it will just toggle it. So now I'll just go to this. Okay, button. Where is the button? But I need to give here. I'll just give toggle child. I'm giving toggle child only here. Okay, so now you can just see this particular button is being represented. So now you can just see here in previously what is exactly happening is on init method, you were able to invoke both the parent as well as the child component. Fine. So now what we did is you can see here parent constructor and parent init is being displayed, but child was not displayed. Before the button was not there, you saw that even the child was being initialized. Okay, but now the child is not initialized, only the parent is being initialized, the parent component. So now when I click on this particular toggle child, what exactly happens is the child will be initialized. So now you can just see here the parent component. So what we did is we have just calling this particular method here, that is this dot child is not equal to, sorry, is equal to not this dot child we have given. So what exactly is happening here is when we are trying to invoke it, here I have given a condition. So based upon the condition, it is not been able to initialize it. So now when I click on this, you can just see the child works has been displayed. And here you can see the child constructor is called and the child OnInit is being called. So what exactly is happening is this particular component, child component, is being initialized only when I click on this particular button. So this button is a toggle button. So only when I click on this particular button, it has been initialized. So you can just see the difference. So now the parent is being initialized because the parent has been having this particular button also. So now when we have written in such a way that when you click on this particular button itself, then only this particular one should be initialized. So when I click on this, you can see that the child has been initialized. So this is how you can just use the on initialization part of it. On init, you can just use in such a way. So is it clear on init? Any doubts? See, among all the hooks, we will not be using all the hooks. We will only be using on init, on destroy, and then on changes and on after view part of it. So other hooks In a very rare case, we will be using it based upon the requirement, but the frequent usage of are only the 4 hooks which we will be frequently using when we are trying to develop the project. That is OnInit, OnDestroy, OnChanges, and OnAfterView. Okay, so now do you any doubts as far as